Yeah, so the summer transfer window was a bit of a bloodbath. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting. We sold a player I was expecting to sell. We didn't get near the amount of money I thought we'd get for him, and that just started a whole domino effect. It was frankly a pain in the ass to deal with. My name's FM20. It's time to get real. We've sold 88 million euros worth of players this offseason. Now, granted, 50 million of that was one player in Helio, and we kind of expected him to move on. I expected him to move for more money, but everybody kind of came in and lowballed me. They were offering like 35, 37 million. I got Schalke up to 49 million straight up, and Helio at that time was just totally not wanting to stay here, didn't want to talk about a new contract or anything. And I was like, okay, you can go to Schalke. And he said he wanted to go to a bigger club because he wanted a chance to win trophies. I don't know why he chose Schalke, to be honest with you, other than the fact maybe they're paying him a ton of money. I don't know how much they're paying him. Let's see if we can't find out real quick. 125,000 euros a week. Okay, that's not bad money, but he's only got one start off the bench. Schalke last year finished fourth. The year before that, fifth. The year before that, they were out of European football altogether. So, I don't know. Maybe maybe there's something about the Bundesliga and winning as a German team as opposed to being on a Spanish team and winning La Liga and getting there. I mean, he knew we were in Champions League football on that, too. It was just really annoying. The other big money person that left was Eric Majashak. He went to SFV Mainz. 2.5 star current ability, 2.5 star potential ability. That leg injury he had just absolutely took it out of him. And then last season, he really kind of tailed off. He got 30 starts. He had 3 goals, 7 assists, 2 players of the match, and a 7.02 rating. And I just looked at who I had on my squad and who I had coming up and who else was available out there. And I decided to put him out there to see who would come calling. And FSV Mainz jumped all over him. 21.5 million euros straight up. And I'm not going to say I was happy to let him go, but I'm okay letting him go. Castello Luqueba left. He went to Leeds for 7 million euros. He was kind of lost in the defensive backfield. Is a decent player, 2.5 star current ability, 3.5 star potential ability, 25 years old. He's a good backup, but he was here on starter money, and when I went to him and tried renegotiating a contract for a backup contract, he didn't want any of it, so away he went. CDDIA was in the same place as Castello Luqueba was, just kind of lost in the shuffle. He went to Brescia for 4.3 million, going to 5.5 million based on international appearances. He's on the Swiss international team. He had one appearance last season. I'm assuming he's going to get a couple others. And if not, for a guy we brought in, I want to say for 8 million. We lost a little bit of money on him, but we made it up with Luqueba. We definitely made it up with Helio. We definitely made it up with Majashak. Majashak, if I remember correctly, came in on a free. No, he came in at 4.5. But yeah, we definitely made it up with Majashak. Elliot Fontaine. Okay. I let Helio go. And Fontaine came and pitched an absolute fit that I let Helio go. And that I should have done everything I could to keep him here because without him, we're absolutely sunk. And it's like, where were you all of last year? You know, when he was out for transfer and nobody met the asking price that he agreed to. Summer transfer window rolls around. Away goes the 80 million. Schalke comes in offering that. I let him go. You know he wanted to leave. Why are you pitching a fit? Fontaine was a backup midfielder, and he was my utility defensive back. He didn't get a lot of starts last season. He was injured, and we didn't lose any money on him, really. We brought him in for 2.1. We sold him for 2.2. He's just a headache I don't have on my bench anymore. Morten Sinkjaer was a midfielder, kind of lost in the shuffle. 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability, but at 23 years old, I don't know that he was ever going to see that rather. Was a capable player for us, had a couple of good seasons when we picked him up, came in on a free, left for 1.7. I think there's something really off with the transfer market this year. I don't think I'm getting value exactly, but at the same time, I also know that I'm getting players cheap as well. And we'll take a look at that over here on the left. But at the same time, it's like some of these players should probably be going for a little bit more money. I mean, Sinkshire is the equivalent of some of the other players that went for 15 and 20 million euros this year. Could be his reputation, could be the fact he's coming from Jaen. John Kitolano was a defensive right back who could also play defensive left back, was lost in the backline shuffle, wanted to leave for more playing time. I let him go to Cordoba. 775,000 euros. Adelson Andrade was in the same boat as Morton Sinkshire. He goes to Albacete Balompié for 750,000 euros. Johan van Berkel, oh my God, he was the other one who absolutely pitched a fit about Helio leaving. This is my starting goalie and a team leader, and was absolutely frothing at the mouth that I let Helio go. I should have done everything I could to sign him. And we went through the whole thing. I was like, look, he wanted to leave. I'm not going to stand in his way. Well, you should have done something to keep him here. Well, he didn't want to sign a new contract. I can't, I need to get something from him. And it was, well, I'm upset and yada, yada, this and yada, yada, that. As a team leader, like a third of the team went with him. And it was like, you know what? If you don't want to be here, I'm not going to keep you here. I put him out there at Groningen, snapped him up for 550,000 euros. So now we've got 18-year-old Lafo Seforovic as our starting keeper, which actually isn't a bad thing. I want to say he's like 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. We'll take a look at him here in a minute. Juan Jesus Flores, who was a youth player, went to Almeria for 110,000 euros. Lucas Boonen, who was a youth player, went to Granada on a free. Martin Matasevic and Ricardo Piccione. I was going to keep Matasevic here, and then Alavis came in and made a really good offer for him. They're paying 18,750 euros a month and his salary for him to be a starter on their squad. Same thing with Piccione. They're paying all his salary and a 15,500 euro fee a month for him to be a starter. So they're getting starting time there where they wouldn't be getting it here. And then William Benevenuti, who is we brought him in this season. We'll take a look at him here. He went back to Cordoba on loan. I'm going to sort by this here. On the ends, Lucas Fabian. I needed some help up top and some depth on the midfield just in case. And Lucas Fabian was the cheapest player out there. All the other young strikers I looked at, their squads wanted me to pay like all of their salary, in which case, in a couple of cases, it was like 125,000 euros a week. I don't have anybody on my squad earning 125,000 euros a week. I'm certainly not going to play a lone player 125,000 euros a week. But he's 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, good advanced forward, good deep lying forward, also plays a decent complete forward and a pressing forward as well. Is also really solid on the midfield line. He is definitely going to be part of the striker rotation, which at the moment is Smilkovic and Maria. And Campos can come up, and there's one other, I'm totally blanking on his name. It's probably Lucas Fabian. That's how the transfer window just has me totally messed up. Anders Brodersen comes to us from Rosenhage, 16 years old, fairly loyal. I did the scouting thing this summer that I've started doing every summer. You go in, you list, hey, search for youth players between the ages of 15 and 17 that have these personality types and meet 4 of the 5 requirements in these areas. And he came in, I brought him in on trial. I made him an offer. I made his team an offer, and they jumped all over it. So I've got a 16-year-old 1-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability, defensive left back who is decent physically, decent mentally, and technically he could use a lot of improving. But you know what? He's going to be here at least 3 years. He's going to improve technically. Anders Brodersen. Oh, we already looked at. No, Anders. Yeah, we just looked at him. Furman Mallow comes to us, is part of the same package. A fairly determined 17-year-old. Physically, not the greatest. Mentally, oh my God, he is fabulous. The 5 bravery and the 4 flair are a bit lacking, but I can train him up on bravery. 12 anticipation, 11 composure, 13 decision, 15 determination, 17 teamwork, 16 vision, 17 work rate. He's got a 16 first touch, a 16 passing. As a central midfielder, he is absolutely fabulous. He's 1.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. He is going to see a ton of playing time on the under-19 squads. And in a couple of years, I would not be surprised if he was getting time off the bench. Rune Tollefson from Holstebro. Also comes to us on a free. That's the thing. When I did my searching for these kids, let me go back to the list here real quick. Broderson, Mallow, and Holtzbro were on expired contracts at their club. They were on month-to-month contracts. I brought them in on trial for 2 weeks, because once you have a player on trial for 2 weeks, you know everything about them. About a week in on each of them, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely signing you. Sarun Tollefson comes to us from Denmark. 16 years old, fairly determined player, this good physically already. Mentally, the 15 bravery, 16 determination, 14 flair, 11 off the ball. As an advanced midfielder on the left, technically, he could be a little bit better. Although the 15 first touch and 14 passing are nice, I'm going to work on his crossing. I'm going to work on his dribbling. He's 16 years old. He's here on a 3-year contract plus a 2-year extension. You know, for someone we brought in on a free, I wouldn't mind if he came off the bench every once in a while, to be honest with you, in some of these cup games. Granted, he's 5'7", 130 pounds, will probably get beat up, but you never know. Jaen Reznicek comes to us from Mlada Boleslav, which I want to say is in the Czech Republic. I needed some backup on the advanced midfield line. He plays advanced midfield on the right, advanced midfield on the left fairly well. 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. I brought him in because he is a nimble little... I can't use the word I want to use. I'd have to beep it out. I'm trying to keep all my videos kid-friendly. The only thing I don't like about him is that he argues with officials, and he looks for the pass rather than attempts to score, but I'm okay with that because he has a 16 dribbling and a 16 technique, and then the 11 passing has been on the low side. But physically, the dude is nimble, and he can run. Mentally, solid. The positioning is a bit lacking, but I'm okay with that. Technically, he's great where it counts. 15 crossing, 16 dribbling, 15 first touch, 11 passing, 16 technique. So he is definitely going to be a contributor this season. And we got him for 72,000 euros. I mean, you really can't beat that with a stick. William Benvenuti, who we then turned around and loaned out to Cordoba. 18-year-old, 1.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability, defensive back. He's a really good central defender, also plays a really good ball-playing defender. Physically solid. The 17 natural fitness I absolutely love. Everything else is 12 or better. Mentally, he's really good. The 18 determination is nice. 11 positioning, 14 work rate, 14 bravery, 14 concentration is all good. Technically, for a defensive center back, he's really good. 14 heading, 12 marking, 12 tackling, 11 technique. The 10 passing is nice as well. I wouldn't mind it if his crossing was a little bit better. But I brought him in intending him to keep him on the under-19 squad. Cordoba came in, offered him a starter's contract, and I said, sure, he's going to get starting time in Cordoba. They're in La Liga 2, I want to say. Did they get relegated? Yeah, they're in La Liga 2, so he's getting some starting time there. I can't complain about that. He's playing against a better quality opponent than he would if he were still on our under-19s. Antonio Costa is probably my one. Let's throw some money at the wall and see what happens. 16 years old. 16 years old, 1-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability, defensive midfielder who's going to be retrained as a ball-playing defender. Physically, he's okay, but he can get better. Mentally, he's really good in a lot of areas. 18 bravery is nice. The 12 anticipation is nice. 11 decision-making, 11 determination, 12 vision, 11 teamwork, and all those are moving up. Technically, 12 first touch, 13 heading, 13 free kick taking, 8 marking, 9 tackling, 10 passing. You know, those will get better as he gets older. He's here for at least 4 years, I want to say, on a youngster contract. Or on a fringe player contract, rather. It says so right there. Fringe player contract. So, you know, we can I think we're definitely going to get our money's worth out of him. I know I should be able to turn around and sell him for at least as much as I brought him in for. Should the need arise. Georgi Barnabishvili from Krasnodar. I needed some depth on the defensive backline. With Ukeba and Diagne and everyone else leaving, I wanted to bring in a quality backup who could also come in and get starts and fit in really well, and that is Georgie. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, 22 years old, physically really, really good. Mentally, really, really good. I love the 19 bravery, 16 determination, positioning, teamwork, work rate all night. I mean, everything about him mentally is nice. I can even live with the 8 off the ball because, frankly, he just sits in the center of the field as a centered defender. I'm not worried about his off-the-ball movement, per se. Technically, 12 heading, 14 marking, 17 tackling, 12 passing. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more starts than he does coming off the bench this season. And for 4.8 million euros for a guy who's valued, I want to say 15 million euros now, that's pretty much a steal. And then Nicholas Bertosa was the big money guy this year, or Nick Bertosa. Comes to us from Hamburger. SV, I needed some backup from Mahmoud, who was in the last year of his contract and is not interested in signing with us because of all the interest shown to him this offseason. It's really annoying. I'm going to try again in the January transfer window. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, 22 years old. Here an important player contract at 45,000 euros a week. I want to say he's our highest paid player now that Helio left. And I'm not even sure Helio made 45,000 euros a week when he was here. Physically, really, really good except for the jumping reach. Mentally, really, really good except for the flair and the aggression. Technically, he could be better. Actually, that's what I need to do right now. His crossing could be better, so we're going to work on that. But his marking, his passing, his tackling are all nice. Heading, technique, they're adequate. Dribbling is okay, but he's a wingback. I'm not paying him. He's not here for his defensive skills. He's here for getting up the field fast. He's here for getting up the field up and down all day long. And with those physicals, that is not going to be a problem for him. Had a solid career at Hamburger. Averaged about a 6-7, 30 starts a season, couple of assists. So if he can do that this season, depending on what happens with Mahmoud, I'll be okay with that. And frankly, with Champions League football again this year, you know there's going to be weeks where we have like 3 or 4 games in 10 days. So he'll start on the bench, and then he and Mahmoud will probably be switching out throughout the course of the year. So the 12.25 million is based on appearance fees. So the preseason was interesting. We had a couple blowout wins against some weaker teams that I wasn't quite expecting. I don't know if they helped us or hurt us in the long run. We had our training camp in Scotland, so I played a couple Scottish clubs. Against Recreativo, we thumped them 5-0. Against Spartans, you know, I said find somebody local who's willing to pay us for a decent amount of money. They're a semi-professional squad, and it was a massacre. They had 2 shots on target. We had 44 and 31. Maria had 4 goals. Smilkovic had 4 goals. Vojnovic had 2 goals. Bianco got a goal in. It was just, oh my God, it was a massacre. I feel kind of bad for doing that, to be honest with you. And then against Celtic, we got thumped 4-2. We turned around and beat Aberdeen 4-0. La Hospitalet is one of our affiliates. We beat them. Against Vallecano, we drew. Against Madrid Castilla, we beat them 1-0. Against Terrassa, who is our 4th division affiliate, we absolutely thumped them 12-1. Marin had 5 goals. Smilkovic had 4. And then we got the season off to a really good start. We beat Real Madrid 2-1 thanks to a brace of goals by Alessandro Cordonovas, who came in at the end of the first half because Mathis did something to his leg, and I took him off as opposed to keep him on and possibly injuring him worse. Then it turned out he just like a bruised thigh or something like that, so he's fine. But Cordonovas came in, saved us. We had 7 shots, 5 on target, like 22 and 9. They didn't play the strongest squad. I think a lot of that is I don't know that they didn't take us seriously. Did Fati leave? I'll be honest, I was so caught up in my own transfer goings on, I don't know if they let anybody go this offseason. No, they let Moise Keane go last season. Dembele went to Juventus on a loan. They brought in Firpo and Velez. So, I'll be honest, I don't know why Fati didn't start for him. Is he injured? Is he still on Madrid? Could also be I'm looking at the completely wrong player because he plays for Barcelona. It's late. It's been a hell of a transfer window. Way to go, Jellicoe. But we beat them 2-1. It was a very nice win. And then we played Celta Vigo. Who finished last season in 6th spot, so they're a good club, and they beat us 3-1. Campos had a goal in the 2nd minute, and after that, this was one of those annoying games. We had 18 shots, 12 on target, a huge possession advantage, and Chechu was absolutely brilliant between the sticks. Their defense absolutely shut us down. No matter how close we came to scoring, they always seemed to have 2 guys on our guy with the ball. And through all that, despite the fact we lost 3-1, Frank Campos still ended up with player of the match. So we stopped here today. There's still about a week left in the transfer window, but we stopped here because it is the Champions League group. The Champions League group stage draw. And we are in the 4th pot. So let me draw the first 3 teams in each group, and we'll be right back. Okay, so Group A is RB Leipzig, Atletico Madrid, Besiktas, and Red Bull Salzburg. Group B, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Lazio, and Zenit. Group C, holy mother of God, PSG, Man United, Porto, and us. This is Preben Norby. He's the best young advanced midfielder in the game. I remember scouting him 5 years ago when he was 18 years old and was a model citizen and was really not that much worse than he is now. They got Juiced Proper, who is also a really good winger. Let's see. Thomas Lamar. They got Rodrigo. Kai Havertz. Kylian Mbappe is a midfielder on the right. And they got Donnarumma between the sticks. And they've won Ligue 1, going away now since 16-17. I don't think it's really been close either. You know what? We can check that. So last season they won by 20. They won by 19 points. Who beat them last year? Paris FC beat them last year. Wow. The year before that they won by 28 points. The year before that, it was an off year for them. They only won by 16 points. The year before that, 15 points, 20 points, 19 points. Only 7 points there. They were slacking. Something must have happened in 2021, 2022. Okay, and who else do we have? It was Man United. 2nd in the Prem, 3rd in the Prem, 4th in the Prem, 4th in the Prem. Do they have anybody I recognize? Other than the coach, Thomas Tuchel? No. Oh, they got Wan-Bissaka. Jonathan Tah. Sandro Tonali. Okay. Marcus Rashford on the bench. How deep are you when Marcus Rashford is on the bench? And Porto. 2nd in Liga NOS since forever and a day. It appears they have not been able to beat Sporting or Benfica, probably. No, Benfica. This is the closest they've come, 4 points. Except this, when they beat Benfica by a point 8 years ago. And then us. Gotta work cut out for us, don't we? Red Star ends up with AZ, Juventus, and Liverpool. Legia Warsaw ends up with Ajax, Chelsea, and Marseille. Rijeka with Eindhoven, Monaco, and Benfica. Shakhtar with Mainz, Napoli, and Barcelona. And the last team was Schalke with Celtic, Inter, and Arsenal. Holy mother of God. Well, now that I know that if you finish third in your group, you go down to the Europa League. Knock on wood, unless something's changed. Yeah, I don't think we're getting out of the group stage. So, you know what? We're going to wait for the game to save. And then we're going to see who we play first. And that is probably who will come back for our first live comms. So, transfer window. Helio left, caused a whole domino effect. Fontaine got mad. Van Berkel got mad. And I absolutely lost my temper with Van Berkel. I was just absolutely done. You know, it's bad enough when you're sitting there telling me how to do my job. And it's like, dude, you're on the team. You know what happened last season. No one came in for an offer for him. You know, and he didn't want to sign a new contract. And you're telling me to do my job? Well, here's me doing my job. You're moving. Réal Jaen handed tough group. Understatement of the save so far. I think what we are going to do is come back for Man City Osasuna. And then we'll have a decent break, come back for PSG Sevilla. Well, I want to play Porto as well, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to skip the first game against Man United. We're going to come back for Porto and Cadiz. Then we're going to come back for PSG and Athletic Club. And then it's going to be some combination of this. We're going to play Porto Cadiz, then we'll play PSG. We'll probably play Real Sociedad PSG. Come back for Man United, Barcelona, and then Porto and Deportivo. And then it's back to La Liga, licking our wounds. Holy cow. What a group. So, we're going to look at Seferovic, who got a couple starts last season. 2-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. Not the best physically. Really good mentally. The 7 composure is a little bit on the downside. His off the ball is kind of lacking, but I'm not quite sure what that has to do with him as a keeper. To move when not in possession of the ball, making themselves available to receive a pass in a dangerous situation. Something tells me it's something different for a keeper, but goalkeeping-wise, he's really, really solid. So, and he will only get better. I think, can we compare him to, you know what, let's go here real quick. So this is Johan Van Berkel. I really wanted to punch him in the teeth. And this is Severovic. So Van Berkel has him pipped in the physical speed and a little bit in communication and a little bit in aerial. Seferovic is equal or better in all the other areas. So I am okay with Seferovic starting in goal. The goal this year is European football. So that's 7th place and above. I think we can do it. Lord knows we're going to have a huge, huge problem getting out of our group, but that's why we play the games. So, if you did like what you've seen and heard, please have a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. Be interested in your feedback on the summer transfer window. Still a week left to go. I don't think we're going to sign anybody unless they just happen to fall into our lap on a really good deal. And frankly, I haven't spent a ton of money for anybody in this save yet. I think the most I've spent was the $14 million for Babišvili. Except it wasn't 14 million, it was something else. Yeah, 11 million, because before then my highest contract was Mahmoud, and I paid out all 9.75 million of that because of all his international appearances. So, you know, granted, I've got 60 million euros in the bank, and I've got 400,000 in payroll to work with, but I have no desire to go out and spend 50 million euros on a player that's going to cost me 150,000 plus euros a week and isn't going to appreciably improve the team. I got a bunch of young players who are good enough to see us mid-table or better, unless we absolutely fall apart, which admittedly is a possibility, but I don't think that's going to happen. It would have happened last year or the year before then. So, mid-table or better. That's the rallying cry this year. My name's FM20. Thanks for watching.